Hello, everyone. I'd like to talk to you about a subject today that affects almost everyone in the South, especially. Let's talk about that subject called mold. Mold's just not for your bread anymore. Mold is for the body. So those of you out there having several symptoms that you cannot identify what's going on with your body, your mind, your body, your thinking, your energy, your focus, your sleep, it affects everything. And here in Texas, mold is really pretty increasing quite a bit. People bring me pictures of mold they find in their house. We're talking like thick mold back on the sheetrock behind their walls. You can be sleeping on the floor and in the living room, we're just watching TV on the floor and be next to a sheetrock wall that's full of mold, especially all these intakes by the AC where there's moisture. Mold loves moist places. Look in your bathroom, around the toilet, your kitchen, and under the sink. You're going to get that aspergillus mold. But there's several types of mold, and you can also get mold where? In the food that you eat. Corn is one, but food is multiple types of foods actually contain mold. So it's really difficult to identify where it's actually coming from, but it can be in your home, it can be in the food you eat, it can be in the office where you work. It can be several places. So what I like to do to you right now is expose this to you on the screen in more of a medical fashion so you can look and identify how it can be affecting you. So I'm going to go to share a screen with you guys. And here we go. Okay, now here is how mycotoxins, we'll call mold mycotoxins, the medical term, how it affects your body, right? Now, if you look at the screen here, hopefully all you can see this well, you're going to see neurotoxicity. So what is that? Is your brain. Now, you see the different molds it lists here, but there's several that affect the brain. And what happens to mold is when candida yeast gets high enough in the body, your immune system gets suppressed. Now, it can be because of antibiotics. It can be because of stress. It can be the foods. I mean, 80% of the antibiotics a day don't go towards humans. Where does it go? It goes to the animals. So the cows, the pigs, the goats, the chickens, the antibiotics are used in all the animals, 80%, right? So that means when you eat meat, you're getting a good dose of antibiotics. And don't you know when they go to the store and it says antibiotics never used or no antibiotics were added? Well, how many are on there in the first place is the question. So the idea is really difficult to not get it in your food somewhere. But we're talking about just the house. So what happens to candida in the gut is when it gets bad in the gut with candida, mold actually prospers. And mold spores, like the little babies, the little mold spores, they can get past the blood-brain barrier, that protective barrier in your brain for circulation. It's a filter, but the mold spores are small enough they can get through. And when they get into your brain, when you see neurotoxicity, this is what happens. The urine test shows you quinolytic acid, it's called. And when mold spores get into the brain, the neurons, those nerve cells get overexcited and they vibrate too fast. And what happens at that point with this neurotoxicity is usually you'll see somebody's dopamine levels go very high, very extreme. Your serotonin levels will be out of balance. It can go very low, it can go very high. And this is when you start acting kind of neurotic, you're acting kind of strange. Your personality begins to change even. But with this, cell death is what's happening to your brain. Your cells are dying. So when they say the gut and the brain have a direct relationship, mold is one that shows just that because it begins in the gut. It begins in the gut, goes to the brain, and then you start seeing early dementia, Alzheimer's, right? But what else in neurotoxicity is this Clostridium bacteria is also there. And this begins to prosper. It begins to grow. And here's a little tip with all the different pathogens in your body. Think of E. coli, the bacteria we also have in our body. When you're around 5G or higher, and you hear about these terahertz these days, but just think of 5G towers, think of 5G in your home, think of 30G, 60G, whatever you're exposed to. When you expose E. coli and mold and pathogens to radiation, these radio signals, guess what happens? They prosper, they proliferate. So more of those will grow. So when you see this neurotoxicity in your brain, you're probably exposed to also a lot of radio frequencies. These radio waves are everywhere today. Carcinogenic, yes, cancer can be formed out of this. Look at all the molds there. Oxidative stress, your body is just breaking down faster than it should. And parts of your cells are not staying healthy long enough. They're actually breaking down quicker and faster, and your body can't replenish them quick enough. Can't keep up. So now the kidneys have to get started and have to do more work and process things they're not used to. The GI toxicity we talked about, there's the gut. The immune system gets hammered. Hepato, there's the liver again. There's a reproductive organ. So basically, all of you gets affected. All right. So think about that for a second. When you have a mold toxicity, which I see it every day in the office, it's just overflowing of the young people. We're talking like 15, 16, 17-year-olds. They come in and all the molds are extremely high in their body. And so they're having like emotional issues as well. Now, let me show you from here. Let's see if I'm sharing the screen with you. So when you do this organic acid test, this is a different test than say a mold test. And I've showed a lot of you this before. But when you go down, you see me writing everywhere. I'm showing you CAN, Candida, the rest are molds you're looking at here. But what I want to show you is here. Look at Clostridia bacteria. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Clostridia bacteria. This is also a gut bacteria that is there. But Clostridia, once again, when they begin to proliferate, they begin to grow and prosper, you'll see these high levels start to happen inside the body. C. difficile is one of them, is very dangerous. And you see other ones listed. You'll see this HPA also show you a combination of different Clostridia bacteria. So these are a way to monitor them. But when you see high Clostridia, even just one level, which is several different bacteria we're checking, you'll see acute schizophrenia, constipation, diarrhea, OCD, all these emotional things begin to take place in a person. You'll also see your body under the oxalates, oxalates are the calcium oxalates, like kidney stones. Well, these calcium gets in all the areas of the body. Calcium has a positive charge, or like your fat has a negative charge. So calcium will bind to fat and put it in the wrong places, but it also puts the calcium where? In the soft tissues. That's all the stiffness and achiness you get in the body. Look how high right here. So this also, mold can cause this, parasites can cause this, and they're all buddies together. They're all one little happy family in the body. Then you'll see heavy metals involved in this. So this chart here tells a big story of other things that can go wrong. But I wanted to talk today is if you think anything's going on with your immune system, your body, your mind, your energy, the main thing is that brain fog you get. Yes, you got to clean your colon. Yes, you got to clean your liver and gallbladder system. Most important, the liver and gallbladder has to function properly or your body cannot process. Think of all the 1,000 things your liver does every day. So guys, if you're trying to just take this herb or just change your diet, it is not enough. I promise you. You have to do all the above if you really want this to change. And this is not an old person's disease. This is something that young people get. All these autistic kids, you'll see high levels of mold, high levels of candida, loaded full of parasites. That is why they are the way they are. So get yourself tested today. Get a mycotoxin test, get an organic acid test, and find out what's happening to you today. And then let's do something about it. I'm Dr. Patrick Price. You guys have a wonderful day.